Hello everyone and welcome. It's Shanna. Now today I have got a couple of fun die sets. I've got the clauses, and I've worked with this before. I made this card here on a video and it's super cute. And I have Santa's Elves, and these are both sets are from Simon Hurley and they were released earlier. Here's the card I made with it on my channel previously. But I kept in the back of my mind thinking all of these Christmas things that I'd worked with earlier I wanted to work with again. And so I'm just bringing these two sets in. I was thinking, I crafted early with them when the product came out, and probably a lot of people might not have been ready for Christmas. And so as we're nearing and getting closer to Christmas, I thought I'd start pulling some of these things out and working with them again. So I have already assembled some of the fussy pieces just because there is some teeny tiny pieces for this. And some of them I'm not using. For example, I have colored Santa's cheeks in with my markers, and instead of adding the little oval pieces that would go on the cheeks, I went ahead and just used my marker, and that's going to really help me not have to do so many fiddly pieces. And I have put the backs of the eyes on all of them. And you can see I've got the belt already around the waist of Santa. And here we've got the mustache. I'm going to get it on there. You actually line this mustache up with the nose that is embossed on Santa's face. And then you bring another piece in for the nose. And I'm going to do that. And I'll color it in with my marker as well. So it's one of these little teeny tiny oval pieces. And there's lots of teeny tiny pieces with this set. You've got, eyes, you've got cheeks, and you have the sleeves and the kind of the little cuffs to the mittens, and just some real fussy pieces. And so I've tried to do a little pre-gluing on that just to save time on the video, and this is going to take some time for me to get it all laid down on here. But what my plan was, I'm not bringing Mrs. Claus in. I'm just going to have Santa and his elves on this card, and we're going to do an A2 size card, and we've got a lot of, with both of the elves and Santa, it's, going to be a lot on an A2 size card, but it'll all come together. So here's his little head. And quite honestly, you could take this, just the head itself, and create, a cute image with that. If you didn't have a lot of space on your card, you could do that. So I'm going to take his little legs and get his body attached to it. And I've got the little belt buckle, and I'm going to lay it down on the black belt and get it laid down. And just give it a little press. And then I realized I didn't add his glasses, and I die cut out the belt and the glasses in the same, it's kind of a mustardy color. I was thinking kind of that it would kind of give like a brass effect. And the glasses are just so cute. I love that Spellbinders has added these. Mrs. Claus and Mr. Claus have their own glasses, and they're super fun, and they're both shaped different. So here's the arms, and you can see I've already got the green glove attached, and I've got the white cuff to the glove attached to that, and that just is going to help us speed things up. And here's his bag. Now on the other card I used his Santa and his list, and I thought I'd use the gift bag with this because we're going to have the elves and we're going to have some gift packages, because that's what the elves work on. And so I thought we'd use the bag. And what they're doing is basically they're getting Santa all ready and prepared to begin delivering the gifts. So I'm going to just take his little head and get it laid down here on his little body. And I'm just trying to position it and see how it looks. And I'm realizing that I've got there's a little kind of a gluey bit on there, and so I'm going to look for my glue eraser, and I'm going to do a little bit of erasing on there because my fingers were kind of gluey from all the bits and pieces, so I'm just going to clean him up and then get him laid down on there. Now I am doing this video at the 11th hour. I mean, it's 1 a.m. I'm doing the voiceover at 1 a.m. I had created a really fun video and realized that it's not time to release it yet. So it is loading. It's already loaded on my channel and ready to go. And I needed a video for tomorrow, so I thought I'm going to grab these die sets and work with them because it has been in the back of my mind to do that for a while, just to revisit some of these things. And quite honestly, we need to use our products more than just once. And so that's what I'm really trying to do, is to drag out, some older product and use it. Now this here is the neck to the elves. And I'm just coloring it to match the faces because I used some light cardstock and it was just too light, I thought, for their faces. And so I just brought in my tri-blend marker and added some color to it. Now here I started to glue him down, and then I thought, oh, we've got the open mouth and we've got to have some red behind there. And instead of using the die cut piece, I'm going to actually just color up this neck area for it. And now his is not going to take, the color's not going to take very well, but hers will be fine. He's got a little bit of glue on there, and so I'm going to have to keep working with it. And then I get too far down into the neck, and I'll have to clean it up a little bit. So I did kind of have my problems with this. I thought about turning it over, and I'm like, no, it's not the right side. Then I bring the marker in to darken it up, and then I go too far down on the neck. And so I'll bring in the lighter color, and we'll lighten it up, and it'll be just fine. But it's because his mouth is open, we kind of have to have a little bit of color in there for, like his tongue or whatever. And so I'm just going to give it a good pinch and get these stuck together. And this is where I'm going to bring in that marker. And this is the lightest tone, and it'll pull that color out. That's the good thing about your alcohol markers. You can take a lighter one and just lift it. And so then we'll get the little girl's head laid down on her neck, and you can see it looks really cute. I could have zoomed in a little bit more, but anyway. So on the little fringe of the shirt is a debossed area where you can lay that neck right on there, and it helps you to line it up. We'll get her laid down on here. And they really do have elf ears. They'll look cute once we get the hair on there. So I've decided I'm going to grab the hair and get it laid down on there, if I can get them picked up. And you really need your tweezers. You've got some fussy little bits here. And I'm just going to slide his head into his hair, because there's a nice little slit in there, and it just fits down there nicely. And then I tucked a little glue in there. And we'll do the same with her. And she's got cute braids, and they are darling. And since it was so late in making the video, I thought, I'm just going to look at the packaging, and I'm going to use the colors that they used. I might have changed up the red and the green a little bit, but I was just trying to keep it simple on myself, because I was like, I've got to get something rolling here. So they're starting to come together and look really cute. And we're going to get her little dress, her little skirt laid down there on her little leggings. And we've got her little hat. We're just going to put a little glue on the top of her head and get it attached. Super, super cute. This set is so fun. Simon, his sets are always super fun. I always enjoy working with him. So we're going to get this laid down. Now I want to have a little bit of his pants showing and not just his legs. So I'm going to tuck it up there, and then I'm going to clean off the extra glue, because I put the glue a little bit lower than I wanted to. And then I'm just going to get the arms laid down on there, and we'll kind of position them. And just give everything a push. It was kind of moving around on me a little bit. You could see the legs move. And we'll get his little hat laid down on him too. And they're super cute. I didn't put the little fringes on their elf boots. I realized that after I made the video and took the photos and everything, but I think they look fine. And we're going to have a lot going on our cards, so I don't think it'll matter. So I got his belt buckle laid down on there. And I'm thinking, I think I got everybody ready. And so I'm going to put my sticky mat away, and I'm going to look at Santa. and realize that I don't have his boots on him. And at this point, I don't think I've noticed it yet. I'm going to go ahead and I've got my card base ready. We're just bringing in a green panel, and we're bringing in that scallop stitched die panel. I've taken a piece of pattern paper from my Merry Moments card kit, and it's a real fun pattern that has trees and different things on it, and it's got all the color, the red and the green and everything, and I think it looks super cute. This is where I realize he's missing his boots. And so I'm going to grab a piece of black, and I'm going to dig that die out, and we'll just die cut his boots out real quick. And then we can add his boots. And the boots are actually 2 layers, because you have the boot and then you have the boot cuff. And so we'll have to assemble those together. And you can see I'm getting those little bitty pieces off of my cutting plate. I'm just getting those 2 little tiny little strips. And we're going to get his boots assembled and get him laid down on there, because he has to have his boots. And I've decided to bring in my little mat. That little mat is just from the dollar store. It's like a cutting mat from the dollar store, and I've just cut it in half. Tina Smith uses those on her videos, and she's mentioned it, and I thought that is such a good idea, because I'm such a gluey mess. And you can use them for ink blending and if you're stenciling or whatever, and just kind of contain the mess. So I picked up one of those, and then I just split it in half. And so I actually have 2 of those, and I can just pull them in when I need to ink blend or glue or whatever, and try to kind of keep my glass mat a little bit cleaner. I do a lot of cleaning in between that you sometimes see, but mostly don't, because I do edit it out. But I try to keep the mat clean and everything, so I'm not gluing my card bases down to the glass mat, and that it just doesn't look messy. I try to keep a fairly clean mat as I'm working, just so it's not a distraction. Now, I've got several things laying out there right now, but I generally do try to keep things put away so we've got some semblance of order, except in my lives. My lives are a little bit crazy, but anyway. So I got him laid down on there so I could have plenty of places that I could put some glue on the vellum that it wouldn't show through. We'll have to add some a little bit later as the corners of the vellum want to pick up. Now I'm basically just going to layer my little elves around Santa, and they're just all going to be clustered together. And I think it's going to work out really well. And you wouldn't normally think that you have enough room for this much on an A2 size card, especially in the portrait, position. But these, if you tuck and you layer, it'll actually work out quite nice. And so I'm just going to kind of layer the elf around Santa, and it's going to come together. I was really pleased, because as I was going to grab them, I thought, how in the world is this all going to fit on here? And then I realized it's going to fit wonderfully. And it's just going to look like Santa and his elves working together, getting ready to deliver the toys. So we're going to put the foam on here, and we're going to add some glue and get it stuck down. And then we'll get her laid down. And I think it's super cute. Now, I haven't forgotten, I do have some packages. I'm going to get this panel laid down, and then I'll bring some additional things in. But I'm just going to lay some glue down on this is just thin pattern paper that was, from the Merry Moments kit, and just give it a good press. I like the pattern. I think it's fun, and it's a small print, so it doesn't take away from it. Now, I paused for a minute, and I grabbed a sentiment, and I grabbed the 3 packages that I had die cut out and assembled. I'm going to put one in the boy elf's hand. We'll put one in the girl elf's, and we'll tuck another one in. And then I just grabbed a sentiment that was already prepared, because I've got a supply of Christmas sentiments where I did bulk stamping and die cutting, and I just threw them all together, and I just grabbed it and dug through there and found something. And we're going to use that. So I'm going to put the red package with the gold bow in her hand. We're going to use all 3 packages, and I'm just going to tuck everything in. We'll get that release paper pulled off. It's a small piece. I just put a little tiny piece at the bottom, and then I'm going to put some glue at the top because the bottom's going to lay on the pattern paper and the top's going to lay on her hand. And I think it looks super cute. Now, the sentiment that I'm using, it says from all of us, and then I'm going to put on the inside, Merry Christmas. I won't do that on the video. I'll do that later. But this is going to help one side of the vellum glue down because I put my sentiment on it. Now I'm going to tuck this 3rd package between Santa and the elf and just kind of get it down in there. And then I'm curling on the other side and I'm realizing it. And so what I'm going to do is bring in some embellishments. I'm going to take a little bit of glue and put a little dot down there and get that to stick down. And we're going to add some embellishments, and that will help that vellum not to curl. And it's going to add a little sparkle to our card as well. And I think it's really fun, and I'm glad I dug this out and used it again. I hope you like it. So here's a quick picture of our card, and if you haven't subscribed, I'd ask you to subscribe. Thanks for watching.